Stay tuned for Airgun Detectives.
Welcome to another episode of Airgun Detectives. I'm your host JC, and today we're going to take the mystery out of the Beeman 2027 PCP pistol. But before we get into that, do me a favor if you hadn't already, hit that subscribe button down in the corner. Doesn't cost you anything, it's absolutely free, but it really helps support the channel. Also, check out my website when you have a chance at www.airgundetectives.com. On that site, I have t-shirts, I've got hats, got my Generation 2 bipods, and occasionally I list some of my personal inventory on there, so check that out when you have an opportunity. All right, let's get back to the Beeman 2027. This is a pre-charged pneumatic or PCP pistol. This has a 50cc air tank on it, air cylinder, whatever you want to call it, and it's a 3000 psi fill. It's non-regulated. However, it does have an adjustable hammer spring, and it does come with all the wrenches that you need, but this is really simple to adjust. I'm going to show you at the end of the video how to adjust this, but it's very, very simple. But you just put the wrench in there, and then you decide how far in you're going to turn it or back it off, what have you. And then that'll adjust your velocity on this. Speaking of velocity, they claim this will get up to 600 feet per second, but we're going to test that like anything else. So it does have a nice hardwood, you can call it a stock or grip, whatever you want to call it, frame, but it does have a nice hardwood stock. This has an adjustable palm shelf right here in the back, as you can see, so you can adjust this for height and angle so it really fits your hand really well. It also has fiber optic sights. It's got the red in the front and the green in the back. I'll show you that sight picture here real quick, just like that. So again, green in the back, red in the front. This does have also 11mm scope rail on it, so you can actually remove this rear sight and use this to put a scope on here. The gun overall is 18 inches. It's got an 11-inch barrel, and it weighs about 3.8 pounds. So it's just under a 4-pound gun, that's for sure. They claim you're going to get about 60 shots. It does come with two 12-round magazines, and I really like these magazines. These are the type that you don't have to put a pellet in backwards. You just load it, turn it, and you fill it up. That's all there is to it. And these magazines go in here real easy. And it also comes with a couple single shot trays if you're one of those that likes to just shoot single shot and slow down your pellet use. It does have a fill probe. Fill probe goes right in here in the front. If you'll notice, there's a gauge right here in the front. And next to that gauge, I'm going to show you underneath here, you've got your hole for your fill probe. So your fill probe goes right in here. Then it's got your standard Foster fitting. You put your air source on it. And speaking of which, that 50cc tank, that's very, as I said before, or didn't say, I don't know, but it's very hand pump friendly because it doesn't take a lot of air. But anyway, they claim 60 shots per fill, so that's pretty good. Anyway, so it also comes with a little degasser. So it comes with a couple magazines, couple single shots, some wrenches, and obviously the fill probe. It does have an adjustable trigger on it. It's a 2-stage adjustable trigger. We'll get into a little of that when we test that a little bit later. But I'm actually going to show you something really special for this, and it's actually going to get your interest, trust me, but you're going to have to wait to the end to see it, but it's going to be pretty cool. So anyway, with that, let's go out and test this and put it through our usual process, and then we'll come back and talk about it. So stay tuned for the next segment. Okay, let's do a velocity test on our 2027 here. .177 caliber. We're just going to be using just a 7-grain basic Diablo pellet. I cranked the hammer spring all the way down. It says adjustable hammer spring. It's real easy because I want to see kind of more of the maximum velocity we're going to get out of this. We'll just shoot 5 shots over the crony, average it out, and we'll kind of have an idea what the maximum velocity with your average pellet is. All right, shot number 1. 910. Shot number 2. 902. Shot number 3. 898. Shot number 4. 888. And shot number 5. 878. Okay, so there's your average velocity with the 7-grain pellet. Keep in mind, I cranked that hammer spring all the way down. I wanted to see what the higher velocity was on this, just to show you. But I'll go ahead and find the sweet spot, and I'll back it off and get kind of the spot where we're going to get the best accuracy and the most shots, and still have some type of decent velocity. But anyway, there's your specs for that. So let's move on to the next segment. All right, let's do a little accuracy test with our 2027 here, and we'll see how well we can make this group. Now, to be honest with you, I was shooting this at our, the 10 meters, 32 feet, and it was boring because I was stacking pellets with it. But I just thought of something. Okay, so rather than shooting open sights with this, I got a treat for you. Check this out. I'm going to swap this one out. Oh, and we're coming back with this. Check this out. Yes, this is Buckrell's Carbine kit for the 2027. So this is the exact 2027 pistol that I just showed you, but we just put a different stock on it. And I figure, in all fairness, let's put it in this stock because I can be the absolute most accurate, and then you guys can see what the potential of this pistol is. And again, as I was saying, it's a pistol, and I was shooting it at 10 meters and it was boring. So I brought it all the way out to our break barrel distance, okay? So this is our 2027 in the Buckrell Carbine kit that Terry put together, and it's pretty awesome. I also threw a scope on here, pretty little fancy scope, but just kind of what I had laying around. But we're going to shoot 5 shots at our break barrel distance. It's 20 yards with this pistol to see how well it groups. Now keep in mind, you can shoot the basic hobby pellets out of these, cheap pellets, or today we're going to shoot the Barracuda field targets. These are a 9.57 grain pellet because they just have the edge on accuracy from this distance. But again, I'll go ahead and probably plink with the hobby ones just to show you the difference. Again, we're going to use our splatterburst targets. We're just going to use the little 4-inch targets, even though that we're 20 yards back with this. And again, we'll aim for the bullseye, but no promises. We're just going to go for grouping. But go ahead and check out our distance. We're our usual 20 yards break barrel distance. Again, I'm repeating myself, but go ahead and check that out. All right, let's see if we can make this group. 5 shots. That's 1. Two. Three. Four. 5. Yeah, this thing literally stacks pellets. It really does a terrific job. I mean, and again, it's a pistol at this type of distance. But this carbine kit is fantastic. The little adjustable stock, the whole bit. It really is. Not to mention the cool bipods. You recognize those, don't you guys? Really stable flat platform. But extremely powerful. Now keep in mind, I set the hammer spring on this one for 8 turns. 8 turns inward. And what that did, we're shooting in the 800s, but it's given us really good accuracy and a pretty decent shot count. And I'll cover that in detail at the very end. But anyway, there you go. There's your Beeman 2027 in action. So let's move on to the next segment. Let's test out our Beeman. We'll test the pull weight. I can tell you it's a very smooth trigger. It's a little on the heavier side, but it's very smooth. So I'm curious what it's actually going to pull at. Let's find out here. Got our trusty Lyman trigger gauge. You reset it here. All right, let's see where we're at. All right, That was 3 pounds, 14 ounces. 3 pounds, 14 ounces. So it's going to be in that 3-pound range. But anyway, I just wanted to show you what it's performing stock right out of the box. All right, let's move on to the next segment. As you guys know, my favorite part of any review is the plinking portion. So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of plinking here. As you guys can tell, I added Terry's the buck rail suppressor on the end of this, so this is all decked out. I'll give you a close look at this at the last segment here, which comes up next in our conclusion, but I'll show you a close-up of this whole thing. Anyway, let's go ahead and see how well we do. I got 12 targets up there. We got 12 rounds. I'm going to shoot the hobby pellets. We're usual. This is the break barrel distance, or 20 yards. Go ahead and take a quick look. All right, let's see what we can knock down here. Let's start with the big pig. Does this have enough power to knock that over? I don't know. We'll find out. That would be yes. Okay. And let's see. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can hit that shotgun shot. I got a little, something's in my way here. Let me see. All right, let's see if we can get it. Yeah. Okay. And let's see. Start with the can. All right. Little metal pipe. Got another white bottle there. Okay. How about our eggs? One more egg. Actually, 2 more. And egg on the end. And we have 1 more pellet. Let's see if we can get that can that fell over. It's laying on the bottom there. We did. I'd say that's pretty successful. See, that's what this thing is designed for. And this setup is so much fun. It really is. Like I said, I'll give you a closer look at this at the very end, which would be the next segment, actually. All right, so stay tuned. Let's wrap this up. Let's wrap up our conclusion here with our Beeman 2027. Wow, I would say that was outstanding performance. It really was. And we're going to get into all this. But first, let's talk about the negatives. My negatives on this is, I would have to say, the trigger on it, it's good. It's just not a great trigger. However, you can make it better. You can put a longer adjustment screw in the back of this, just a little bit longer. It'll help take away some of the creep. But it's not overly a heavy trigger. It's very controllable. And it actually is quite enjoyable once you get it set up. It really is. My other negative would be it's just a bit loud, but that's what's going to happen when you're going to get power out of it. But there's obviously a solution for that. Terry at Buck Rel has that solution. But anyway, that's it on my negatives. I have so many more positives, and let's get right into that. First of all, let's talk about the price point on this. The price point, these sell for, I've seen them between $150, $160, right in that range. So for a pre-charged pneumatic pistol, comes with 2 magazines, 2 single shot trays with an adjustable hammer spring, I think that's a heck of a deal. It really is. So let's talk about what else I like about this. The fact that Terry came out with this carbine kit for this, I mean, look at this. This is just absolutely amazing. It really is. Yeah, his kit will take any standard AR grip you can put on there. His does come with a grip though, but you can look that up. I mean, it just changes the whole dynamics of this pistol. It really does. And then I even put one of his suppressors on here. So I'm going to leave you guys a link below for this whole setup, but I can tell you this much. The price of the gun and all this setup, with the exception of the scope, you're looking about $300, and where are you going to get a $300 PCP carbine with all this setup? You're not. Then obviously the bipods are extra, but you guys know where you can get those anytime. But that, I just think the fact that this is an option for this, to turn this into a carbine, is just incredible. And it's, yeah, he's got it set up with the adjustable stock, the whole bit. And it's really easy to set this gun up. And he's got a complete video for this. When I leave you the link, you'll be able to access that. All right, also, the accuracy on this was terrific. It was fantastic. What did we shoot? A .33 center to center. And it's not overly pellet picky. Another bonus on this is the mags. I love the magazines because of the easy loading mags. I don't have to put a pellet in backwards and do that. You just top them off. It's really nice. Okay, let's talk about velocity. The velocity on these were incredible. This is the first time I've ever seen a manufacturer underestimate their velocity so much. They say up to 600. We got up to 900 feet per second. And that's amazing. And then with that adjustable hammer spring, we can set it up, any direction what we like. We want more shots or less shots. That's great. But let me show you a quick chart that I put together. So if you crank this all the way in, so you want the fully adjustable hammer spring, so it's all the way in, that would be our blue line here. You're going to get 24 shots, 2 magazines. You're going to average about 815 feet per second. You're going to have a high about 900 feet per second. And then you're going to have that little sweet spot between one shot and shot number 15. However, you will get the full 24 because you're only talking about a little over 100 feet per second drop from the first shot to the last shot. Now, if you go 8 turns, and that's what I did the accuracy test, to me that's a nice balance. And if you'll notice the difference on the chart where it goes, it starts low, then it works its way up, and then it comes down. That's just because of the different pressure that you put in the hammer spring. So with that, that's our red line there. We're going to get 36 shots, 3 magazines. We're going to average 801 feet per second. And you're going to get a really good sweet spot between shot number 4 and 24. However, you'll get that full 36 shots. So this rifle is so versatile because you can do whatever you want to do with that hammer spring, which is fantastic. You can back it way off and you'll get your 60 plus shots out of it if you want. All right, let's show you how to adjust this hammer spring real quick. It's very, very simple. You want to make sure that your gun is not loaded. I like to put it on safe so it's safe. So make sure the chamber is empty, a whole bit. Okay, then what you want to do is obviously put the barrel in a safe direction. And your hammer spring is right here. I'll point this out right here. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to take the bigger Allen wrench that comes in the kit and you want to slide that in here. And I like to go at 12 o'clock. That's just the easiest setup here. But what you want to do is you want to back this off. That means go opposite of the clock. See that? Until it's flush. Just like that. Okay, so we're pretty much flush right here. In other words, what I'm talking about is you're having that bolt flush with the back of the cylinder here. So then when you want to go inward, I told you the sweet spot that I liked 8 turns. So let's just show you. But you can do less. You can shoot it all the way out, or you can shoot it all the way in. But you're just going to basically rotate it and count your turns. That would be 1 turn, 2 turns, and 8 turns. That is it. And so you can play with this and tune it exactly the way you want. You want to get lower velocity, more shot count, you bring the hammer spring outward. You want more power, you're going to get less shots, you bring the hammer spring inward. But it's very, very simple to do there. It really is. So that's pretty cool. I like the fact that these have the 50cc tank. It's very hand pump friendly, easy to fill, and these are frugal on air. They really are. You're going to get a lot of shots. These things are an absolute blast to shoot. I really like the carbine because I'm really not big on open sights, so I put a scope on it. But keep in mind, you put a scope just on the pistol itself if you're into that. But you have this versatility, which is fantastic. Overall, pretty outstanding, I see. Now, how would I rate these? I know in the beginning, I did want to mention this. In the first line, there was guys that complained that some of these leaked a little bit. And found out that some of them in the first series that were sent out had loose gauges. And once you tighten that gauge up, that went away. I have had no issues with these holding air whatsoever. Not at all. And they performed, you guys saw how well they performed. They performed outstanding. So how would I rate these? Well, I would rate this out of the box. I would give it a solid 4. It's kind of 4.5 stars right there, because I think about the value that you're getting for this price point. It's fantastic. Then obviously, if you bump it up into a carbine, that's a 5-star gun right there. And you guys saw the accuracy we're getting. It was fantastic. Anyway, again, I'll leave you a link for Terry at Buck Rail. So if you want to explore this carbine kit, which I think is just sensational, makes this gun so much fun to shoot with. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Airgun Detectives. This is where we take the mystery out of the air gun. Until next time, I hope you get a lot of shooting in. I hope your families are all well. Take care, and God bless.